Hi, everybody. My name is Jessica Kong, Festival Director of HAAPIFEST. Thank you so much for joining us on our 8th day of the festival. We hope you've enjoyed all of tonight's films. I have the pleasure of interviewing the guests from two of tonight's featured films, 3-Second Rule and Tales of the Circle Keys. As a friendly reminder, this Q&A is being broadcast live from YouTube and Facebook, so please feel free to ask any questions in your comment section, and we'll do our best to address the questions during our interview today. Now, joining us from California, please welcome the director and writer of 3-Second Rule, Todd Lien, and the actress that played Hannah, Allison Q. Welcome, everybody. I'm so glad we get the chance to interview you. I'm going to dive right in because the story was just a very nice little slice of life kind of movie. What inspired you to write this story, Todd?
This story actually came to me when three of the main cast in this movie, including Allison, came to me. They wanted to create a story that's relatable as an Asian American high schooler, and then who deal with life experiences that the choices they have to make, and then they want to be able to showcase what that the message of time and message of like making decisions and in the media film form, which is one of the easiest way to reach more people out there. And so I think hearing their stories of these three actresses, it really helped me to put together a story that fits what they really want to tell together as a group. And that's kind of where I got the story from.
That's awesome. So really you found your cast first before you actually made the story?
Yeah, it is, because I think it's just because everybody has their own like story they would like to tell. And I think the one way I think is unique about how this project came to be is that we came together to try to put story together and as the cast and the director first.
That's really cool. And Allison, how much of your influence and the other girls' influence were you in the writing process?
Well, so like a lot of the time the plot was like discussed between the girls, and three of us would talk to each other about what we wanted to express. And it was actually a really fun experience, and I learned a lot from Mr. Todd, especially in the script writing section, because when I was little, I actually really liked script writing or like screenplay writing. Yeah, is that? Yeah, that. And in 5th grade, I actually wrote my own scripts, but they didn't turn out so hot. Yeah,
Hey, practice makes perfect.
Yeah, it does.
That's really cool. And then kind of diving into your character, as well as the other girls' characters, out of the three girls, did you feel more connected to your character, Hannah? Or did you kind of see more of yourself in Arya's or Jenny's story?
Well, I love Hannah's passionate personality for like what she does, like dancing. But I connect to Ari more in my daily life, specifically since she's always like conflicted about whether to focus on her academics or being in a girl group. And I relate to this a lot because I have to be good at time management in order to do what I love, like dancing and acting, while still keeping up with my academics, since I take a lot of AP classes and it's really stressful when you don't do so good in the class. So yeah.
I feel you. I remember those days of juggling extracurriculars and AP.
Oh, yeah.
Todd, did you also have kind of that same experience, kind of being pulled in different directions career-wise? I know you wear a lot of different hats, and you're also like behind the camera, in front of the camera, so that is also a lot of stress sometimes, right?
Right. I think it's just how interesting like the life kind of takes you, and if you just kind of follow the things that open in front of you. And for me, I was in medicine before, and then coming here to change my career into acting. And then as I started doing more professional acting, I dabbled into filmmaking and directing kids and shows. And to me, it becomes about creating. It becomes about like being an artist, telling a story. And then I feel like life has been pulling me in different directions, but I don't necessarily feel like being an artist it conflicts with each other in a way, because in the end we are kind of as a team together telling a story, which is kind of cool about how 3-second rule come to be, having the actresses coming in with me, and then we talk about the storyline, we talk about characters, and then we make the story together. And so in a way it's like four storytellers putting together, and then with like maybe more, because I'm more experienced, I was guiding them together to make this happen. So I do feel like it's a little difficult sometimes to juggle, just like that's what Allison said, like you have to like do time management, figure out how to prioritize, and then actually be able to do what you love, and without sacrificing the things you really want to do.
Absolutely. But I think that something you touched on is really important in terms of telling a story, is that when you have more buy-in for both the characters and, you know, the crew and, you know, other points of view, it really makes the project that much more special. So I think that really came across in the film. And kind of diving right into the title, which I thought was interesting, 3-second rule. So most people equate it with, like, you know, if they drop something on the floor and, you know, they're, you know, trying to decide whether to eat it. What made you think about the 3-second rule as a title, and what does it mean to you, that actual phrase?
Right. I think 3-second rule, it is a common phrase for use for food and dropping on the floor. What I was really going more for was how, like, you know, as kids growing up, your parents always count to 3, and you have to make a decision. Do you want to obey their wishes, or do you want to not obey and get punished for it? And I think that's just a very common experience as kids growing up in any culture or culture background, maybe with like a little more you know, because Allison and I, you can probably you know, relate more about like with Asian parents, they're expecting you to make the right decision within that 3 seconds. If you don't, some kind of big consequences comes. And I think decisions you make, it's very little things like that make you more aware of the decision you make about within 3 seconds. Do you want to eat that food out on the ground and get sick? Do you want to get grounded and not make the right decision? But in making a decision like that, sometimes it can have really big impact in life. And it can also be something applied later as an adult, trying to figure it out how to trust life as you make decision on the spot, and just know that things will work out okay. And even within that 3 seconds, you just have to make that one decision.
Oh, I like that. Anything you want to add, Allison?
Well, going back to like the 3-second rule for like the food, it's actually like that, even that subject, even that concept is about decision making. And just like Todd said, it requires a lot of brain to choose like whether to eat that food on the ground or not. Like and that's what our short film is mostly focusing on, is the power of decision making. And sometimes we might not have the best decisions, but in the end, what happened, and just move forward and enjoy life.
No, that's a great message. You know, some people can't adapt as easily, especially after making decisions, whether it be a short split-second decision or a long-term decision. So it's nice to also point out, you know, the after effects. You really want to, you know, think about things. What were some of the challenges you faced while making this film?
Well, first of all, I think we all know COVID pandemic was really difficult for making films, because you have to get a group together, but you can, you know, how do you be conscious about it, you know, with COVID guidelines in line, and then like you have to really be able to be smart about making this project without making it too high risk for people. And I think another really important challenge that helped me a lot was to deal with kids as casts, because most of the filmmakers will be like try to shy away from kids, because then you have to deal with some of the more serious rules, and then also parents. And I think in the past few years of like working with kids and then parents and then filming different projects, it's just figuring out how to navigate, how to communicate with people in the different generation. Some are actually not that different from my age, but then like it's just a different mindset of like they are here the value of money and time, and then their kids, their passion, they don't always align for all the parents. So this project specifically has 3 kids as 3 leads together, and that means there are 3 parents and 3 kids. 6 of them have like different. They might not always agree with everything they have together, but I think we all learn really well how to communicate with each other. Within 3 casts, when we write the script, it's the same thing. That it's like they might not all have the same idea how they want to tell the same message, and I think especially newer to film productions too, because this is like their first professional big short film production that really does involve a lot of money, so a lot of pressure is on as well. And but in the end, I feel like we learned a lot out of this, and then to create this film that's doing really well in film festivals. So learned a lot.
That's awesome. And going back to young actors and actresses, Allison, as a young aspiring actress, well, you are an actress, but as a young actress, what advice can you give to other aspiring actors and actresses?
Well, me being a newer actress, as Todd said, acting really requires like studying and training, and I didn't actually know that until I went on a set myself. And you need to be able to connect with your own character and see the scenes play out through their eyes and not your own, which is really difficult for me because I was always like, well, I wouldn't have done that if I were her. And well, that's not really, a mindset you should have as an actor. And observing how others, especially more experienced actresses and actors, it's a really fun experience, and it's a really interesting way to improve and see the nitpicks, yeah, of everyone's acting abilities, and it's so interesting and fun, and opportunities are always there for you. Just take them.
Oh, that's a great message. I really like that. Todd, anything you want to add in your experience as an actor?
Yeah, I think there's one thing really cool about these 3 girls is they come together. They want to create their own projects to really put their best foot forward to really showcase themselves as artists. And I think the advice I've always given people, because I've went through all that phase of just starting out and then figuring things out. It does require a lot of training, so it's not easy. It's not a joke. It's hustling is real. And even if you're in high school, you're already deciding what to do with your life early on, have a fine direction to go. And acting, it's something people could be really exciting because of the glamour you see, but then behind the scene, all these difficult sweat and tears they have to put in. I think these 3 girls already they already understand this, but then out there for more actors and actors, it does take training, but trust it, and then really create your own opportunity. And don't just wait for opportunity to come to you. So I applaud those 3 girls to come to me and really just want to do this to make something for themselves.
That's really cool. And so for this year's festival theme, it's about raising communities, and the film block was about raising second chances. So I know the film was rather short. Was there anything that you felt like you had to cut out to add and or keep into the film, or do you feel like you could expand upon the story even further?
I think the story could definitely be to expand a little more, because we dive right into the idea of time construct right away of what it means to have those 3 seconds to make a decision, and the characters themselves, that their struggle is given right away, and it wasn't really enough to really even focus on multiple issues, because there are 3 leads and 3 different concepts, 3 different struggle and challenges that you have to present at the same time. And I do think this 11-minute short film did really well, because we focused on just one thing for each, and then put them together, weave them together. So I think short film has its own power in terms of having this one specific message just comes out right away. And however, if you make it longer, then you can then expand on character development. You can expand on their relationship building, and how their lives really interfere with each other, and how that 3 seconds really change your life. And so I do think the theme about raising second chances, it has this similar message in this short film about how you make a decision within 3 seconds. However, when those decisions are made, it doesn't mean that it might seem like those consequences that come with those decisions sometimes feels like you are just shut out by life. But like if you step back a little bit more to really look at it and examine yourself and then around you, you'll realize that that's actually life's way of teaching you how to continue moving forward. And then with the opportunity that might be just around the corner if you turn around and look.
No, well said. I like that.
So
you're supposed to say it's natural. So what upcoming projects can we expect from the both of you? What are y'all currently working on that you can share with the audience?
My company, iStage Entertainment, is we are planning on 2 more short films that's coming out in production and in September, and then there's more music videos that's coming out as well. And I am in the process as a director to do a musical feature film on my short film that I did 4 or 5 years ago. And it's in the process of pre-production at the moment. And there are a lot of exciting things to come up. But then my mission is to make sure I have all the projects there is to create more opportunities for Asian American young kids, artists to really be involved and then really pursue this more professionally and enter into Hollywood. My vision is always raising an army of Asian American kids, just go into Hollywood and knock on their door and tell them, here we are, pick one of us, any one of us to be on your next big film.
That's awesome. And Allison, will you be helping raise that army as well?
Yeah, definitely. I'll take any opportunity that comes my way. And I've been working on a lot of like dance covers because I like K-pop and hip hop and all those things. So I'm just, building my foundations and putting stuff out there.
That's awesome. Well, thank y'all so much. Oh, and actually, if the audience can watch 3 Second Rule again, where can they catch it?
At the moment, because we're going through the film festival till the end of the year, and afterwards it will be released on you will definitely see it on the Facebook and IG for iStage Entertainment. It will be on our YouTube channel, which is also iStage Entertainment, and and then I am working on the deal to get this on Amazon. Hopefully, that will be one of the platforms we can watch this film as well.
Awesome. Well, we look forward to that. Thank you so much for taking the time to sit down and interview with us. It was really great talking to the both of you.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
You too.
Audience, once again, if you'd like to follow Todd and Allison, get the updates on their projects, please follow the social media below, and then we'll also be sharing the information on our social media. Next up, I am proud to welcome the executive producer, writer, and star of Tales of the Circle Keys, which was our feature film tonight, Kurt Kaminaka.
Hey, aloha from Honolulu.
Aloha. Thank you so much for joining us, Kurt.
Cool. Man, my pleasure. Before we start, I'm going to take 3 seconds to introduce the wizard wants to say hello. Say hello.
Well, hello,
Hi.
wizard.
Okay. 3 seconds, right? Okay. Makes all the difference.
Absolutely.
Sorry for interrupting.
No, please. Because it's very prevalent in your film as well. Time was such a big theme within Tales of the Circle Keys. First off, what inspired you to actually write this story?
Well, when I got the Circle Keys made, it sat in my living room, and I would go inside, I would touch it, I would feel the energy going through my fingers, and I was hoping that it would bring ideas to my head, which it did. And I wanted to make it a little magical. It said, hey, what if you put a band together? It said, what if you wrote songs? What if you played? What if you made a movie about me? And what if you blurred reality with dreams? And what if you kind of told your story and put it underlined and made it a little funny, put a little crime in it, crime drama, made a little fantasy, and a love story, of course, with a little triangle happening. So, yeah, my circle keys was my muse.
That's really cool. Kind of diving right into that. So I kind of looked on your website as well, and there's only a few of these keyboards made, correct? Who was actually the one that created the keyboard?
Yeah, it was made by a Boston-based company called Piano Arc, and there's actually 6 in the world. It was featured on the Super Bowl with Lady Gaga. It had a 1-second close-up, which is worth $667,000. But anyway, there's 6 in the world, but they're all a little bit different from each other because they were tweaking it along the way. So you could say it's one of a kind. Yeah, made in Boston and engineered in San Diego.
That's really cool. It's such a beautiful piece, and I would definitely get inspired about it as well.
Cool. Yeah.
So kind of diving back into like the different genres that your film kind of crossed over. When I watched the film, it really reminded me of another cult classic, which was like Wayne's World, because it had that same essence. It didn't take itself too seriously. It was kind of playful and entertaining. But then it also had like an underlying kind of, crime and love story as well. How did you actually, was it your intention to format it that way, or did it just kind of come organically as you were kind of writing the script?
Well, actually, first of all, I'd like to say I'm cool that you think it might be in a cult classic, because that's what we wanted to be. That was the idea. But I wanted to keep the viewers on their toes. So just when you thought you were somewhere, you weren't. So the playfulness came on, trying to fool the audience and put a little comedy in there. But actually, if you really listen to the underlying subtext, it's there's 3 serious messages that I'm trying to relate to the audience in a non-threatening way, instead of just pounding it in. You would have to be really sensitive. So number 1 would be, is the world ready for Asian rock star? Because I got some direct experience in my days back when I was in Hollywood trying to promote my music. I actually had one A&R person say, I like your music, but I don't know if we're ready for an Asian rock star, so I put that in. Number 2, follow your passions. Because if you follow your passions, the universe will somehow come out and guide you. And number 3, especially in this COVID pandemic, unpredictable world, which, spoiler alert, if you didn't watch the film, hopefully you watched the film already. The second to the last scene is keep rewriting your story, because the pandemic hit us all by surprise. So you got to rewrite your story. Change your business, change your concepts, change your everything. Work from home, change your job, but write it so that it's your movie. You are the star. You are the director. You are the lead actor. Make your life make sense. Find the perfect ending, and keep rewriting until you get it right.
No, I like that. And kind of touch on, the fact that you did have to kind of rewrite after, some of the, with the challenges of the pandemic. What were some of the other challenges that you had making the film? And, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The challenge is, it was my first feature film. And as we all know, feature films is totally a different animal from a short. When I wrote it, the next time I write, I'll be a little bit more conscious of this. I actually had 45 actors with speaking lines, 145 actors in total, 40 crew. It was like a huge amount of people, and the budget kept growing and growing and growing. So keeping the budget in check was the hardest thing. And other than that, it was a wild ride, and we had minor problems, but I can't even remember. So they must have been minor. And it was just a fun fun process. Everybody out there, you got to make a feature film at least once in your life.
That's great advice. And as the writer and star of the film, did you find it easier or harder to get into the character?
Oh, absolutely easier. It was easier because I knew the subtext. I knew where everybody was going. I wrote, and I was inside their heads as well as mine. So, and especially because a lot of the actors, the supporting actors, were great. They just pulled things out of me that I didn't know was there, so they added to. So, like the script changed from rewrites, then it changed again on the actual filming when the actors, we allowed them to do a little ad-libbing. So that was good. And it changed again in the edit. So, the process kept molding it until, it was hopefully a smooth, wild ride.
And speaking of casting and kind of what you alluded to earlier, so the band, the Circle Keys, is it actually a band or is it actually just something that you put together for the film itself?
That's a good question. It was a band put together just for the film. Although after watching the film, I was thinking, wow, wouldn't it be cool if we put a real band together and toured? So that is in the back of my mind. But oh, and I gotta add, all the actors that were playing instruments can actually play it, except for the if I should say this, I just say it because they saw it. Except for the trumpets, the two trumpet players, they were just good actors. I actually tried to get my trumpet player friend, he's the best in the island, but he kind of shied away. He said, "Nah, movie's not for me." But yeah, so to answer your question, I wish because I think it would be I think it would sell. I think we could do a nice tour.
Well, I like the music. I thought the music was really catchy, and so that's why I was like, as soon as I watched the film, I Googled y'all, and I was like, is this an actual band? I was so intrigued. So, you actually created the musical score then for the film itself? Or?
Yeah, I actually scored. Yeah, a lot of the songs were, in fact, all the songs were, except one, all the songs were written and composed by myself, and except for one, Soul Man. So we got the rights. We licensed that from 2 publishing companies. And and you know what I found out, Jessica, from doing this movie? I found out that I really like scoring movies. It's just magical looking at a scene and then playing something that enhances the scene. It's like, wow, it just, and what I like about it is that it just comes very quickly and very naturally to me. So I like scoring films. So if anybody out there wants like my score, you know where to reach me.
No, that's great. In fact, in one of our previous Q&As with the director for Swingin', shout out to Daniel Shangsing, he actually had that same feel, was that musical score is like an additional actor. It's not like just a thing that enhances, the piece or the film or the scene, but it's actually like its own separate kind of actor that, helps feed the character in the scenes. So
absolutely. And it can just, and then what is cool is that to seep it in so that people don't even really hear it. They feel it, they don't even hear it. Or like, there's the music that's going to make me, it just seeps in very, very slowly. And then all of a sudden, you're just looking at the movie, but you feel it. So it's about bringing out feeling and emotion, I guess.
No, absolutely. In your everyday life, you don't think you hear certain sounds, but there's always like that white static or that background noise. And so that's what's so great about musical composers and all those sound designers, is that they add that in, and it's just so subtle. But if you take it out, it immediately would be like, what's going on? I hear nothing.
That's right.
So it's great.
Right.
And speaking of kind of like sound, we're also kind of diving into set design in a way. I really liked the jungle location that you used in that building. So was that actually a building that you found, or did you actually create the artwork for that?
Wow, that's a really interesting story. The jungle is located right across the street from where I live, right across the street from here. It's it's an old board of water supply building. The roof is falling in. You know, it's like Harry Potter. The trees, the roots are big, and then I got to tell you, you know, the graffiti. I call it graffiti at that time because when I first saw it, it was bare walls, so it looked very believable. Like, you know, we're in a jungle and everything. When I went back to location scouting, I saw all these paintings and graffiti, so I got kind of it bothered me. You know, I got kind of pissed. So, but then the director and the visual effects guy, Dick Diamond and Robert McLean, we talked about it. We spoke about it, and they said, "What if we made their eyes blink? We made them talk. We made them sing." And then after I thought about it, I said, "You know what? Let's do it. It's cool." After that, it was like, you know, sometimes things that you don't like turn into greater things, you know, and a lot of things like that happen in the movie, you know. So
I like that story.
Yep. Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah. Just got to make lemons out of lemonade out of lemons. And if you have alligators, make Gatorade.
Absolutely. Going into the way that you kind of sliced your film into different parts, what was your favorite part to shoot?
Oh man, that's easy. It would be probably part 3, is because part 3 was when I could perform with the band, you know, the real band, and the finale, which is in actually part 4. But all those parts when I was playing, I was on stage with the band. It was like almost like I wasn't acting, you know, I was just playing music. And it was like my dream coming true. Like, you know, wow, you know, especially the finale. I mean, we had people in the audience, and it was like, yeah, I felt like a real rock star. That, you know, I felt like Hollywood picked up me and I was playing. So, you know, this movie was actually my dream. It was a wish, and I could actually feel like I wanted to feel. So, you know what? That's why you got to keep rewriting. You know, if Hollywood doesn't like you, just make your own Hollywood.
Absolutely. And kind of diving right into our festival theme. So the festival theme was about raising communities, and the film block was about raising second chances. And what was really great was that your film was like a visual blueprint for writers. You know, it had like, you know, the screen acting class, and it had all these tips about ways that you can enhance, you know, your natural writing abilities. What advice do you have for other aspiring writers, you know, aside from the rewrite and, you know, just go out and do what you love and your passion?
Yeah, well, you know, all I can say is, you know, just like if you want to sing in the shower, sing with your windows up, sing in the car. If you want to be a writer, write. However, I got to go back to the passion part. If you don't have passion, there's nothing, I think, really meaningful that can happen. You probably run out of energy. You cannot sustain the process because you gotta love it. There may be rejection along the way, but if you love it, you really don't care. If you're passionate about it, it's just gonna happen. And I think everybody has at least one story to tell. Okay, find that story, be passionate about it, and maybe your second story will come, and then they'll just keep going and going and going. But passion, find the story and write about it. Just keep writing. And if you don't know, just keep writing. You know, daily journals, I would say. I do that a lot. And then I read back, and then that helps too. So, but basically it's passion and keep writing. Very
nice. What were your writing influences, may I ask? Like, did you actually have filmmakers or writers that you actually looked up to, or was this something that you always had a passion for?
Well, I guess I started off as a songwriter. So you have to tell a story in 3 minutes, you know, and you got to be melodic about it. So when you got 3 minutes, you don't have time. You have to cut the fat. So when I could make a short, oh yeah, I wanted to say this too. Part 1, this Tales of the Circle Keys was made in 2 segments. Part 1 was a short. It came out as a short. It made 10 festivals, semifinalists and a few. It was 16 minutes long. So that was it. That was going to be it, because I thought, yeah, I made a movie. That's good enough for short. And then I rented a theater. I had 100, the cast and crew and friends, family. And I had such a good response, positive response. And the one thing that came out of this was they wanted more. So I was hitting a lot of walls because I didn't know where to take it. Prequel, sequel, I don't know where to go, and keep it exciting. So when I got the idea shortly thereafter about, pulling back, and the part 1 is actually a film that we're trying to find an ending for and, complete, everything just started to flow. So, so then the parts 2, 3, and 4 came out. You know what? I went on the side. What was the original question again? I'm blanking out. Sorry.
I'll circle back because I'm actually interested now. So, well, I was interested before, but I mean, I'm interested in the fact that it was a short first. So did you actually have to refilm some of the part 1 then? Or did you actually use part 1 as part of the feature film and then kind of segue into your other parts?
Part 1 was probably 95%, 99% intact. We just maybe cut off a little bit of the ending. And basically we pulled back. Yeah, part 1 was, part 1 was almost exactly as the short was, almost pretty close. Yeah. And that's the poster. See this poster in the back? That was the poster for the short. Because the poster for the feature is different. So yeah.
Is that why there was a different actress then? Or if I'm diving into it?
No, that's the story there too. So, it's hard enough for an independent filmmaker to get funds, right? So we're really tight. So when I went back to the agent for the first gal, they wanted to negotiate her pay. And I thought, you know what? I went to the director and I said, I think we got to write her out. So that's what we did. And then I was, so we wrote her out, and it came better because we got that funny audition scene. Remember that scene?
Yeah.
And I think we got a really good, excellent replacement. So, I write from real life, and that was written like, that joke, the one about Asian man trapped in an Asian body, that was actually real. The director and me, we had words. He wanted it out. He said, it doesn't match the rest of the film. And I said, I like it. Come on, it's my favorite scene. So we went back and forth, and finally I wrote it into the movie. And then he said, I hate you. Let's put it in. So basically, I was writing from real life. I think it's easier that way because it's true. And so there's a lot of realness happening in that movie.
Well, and I think that's that's a good thing about the type of genre, the type of film that you did, and that you have that 4th or even like the 5th wall, and then that you can kind of rewrite those different scenes or include those scenes that you may have cut initially out of the film, like the Soul Man clip. But it's like, well, no, we're basically editing during the film process anyway, so it's you can gladly keep it in and argue about cutting it out later. So
yeah, but speaking about breaking the 4th and 5th walls, I did that purposely, and what I was trying to accomplish was to bring people into the movie. I wanted, they're suspending belief anyway, so I wanted them to suspend a little bit more belief to the fact that they're sitting in the audience and they could come into the movie. They could actually, just come into the movie and be with us together and experience this craziness. So that was the idea in part 4, when people started coming to the Circle Keys and coming, and just we tried to pick. When I wrote it, I had like a dozen people coming through, but then the director said, you know what, that's too much. You just pick 3. So we got 3. We got the surfer with the pigeon like that. Got to talk pigeon, right? We're from Hawaii like that. And then we had the deaf girl. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then we had the girl, my dog. The girl with the dog, which is my dog. By the way, the 3 dogs, they're my dogs, and I love them to death. And I told I told the director, we gotta have cameos for my 3 dogs, or we just got to have it. So we got them in. We got Blade, Mikey, and Zoe in the picture. They're movie stars now. So anyway, and then we actually had the third girl was actually deaf. I was trying to get the first AD because she can sign. So I was trying to get her to do that. She said, "No, man, let's get the real deaf person." So we looked around in Hawaii and we found the perfect person. So she really was deaf. And she taught me how to sign language, just that part. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of truth into the movie also. So
I like that.
right.
Well, and
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead.
No.
Well,
No,
I was just saying, I like the literal fact that you drew people in, because a lot of people do say that, like when, as an audience member, like, oh, I was in love with this film. It really immersed me into the film itself. And so I like that visual, the literal cues that you took from it and made actual audience members come into your film. So kind of the opposite way, how people are, I really like to dive into the film, but you're already in the film. So it's already planted in there.
Right. And then I don't know why, but I just got a flash about a previous question that you said, what was some of the trials and tribulations that we had to go through? What was hard? The best scenes were with the band. The worst scenes was the running scene. Scene that I was running? I was running barefoot. I was running barefoot all day. Well, most of the time, right? I'm running on gravel stuff and slipping on rocks. And that grass scene when I'm running, actually, the director couldn't find me. He was saying, "Where are you? Come on, action, cut." What happened was a hornet had stung me in the head and I was on the ground in pain. I was on the ground in pain and he couldn't see me. So, so folks, that running scene, that took the most effort and that was the hardest one to do.
Sweat, blood, and tears.
I still got it's gone.
Oh my goodness.
How you doing? You enjoying this interview? Yeah, he likes it.
Thank you for your blessings. So let's see. So the question that I had originally asked was, what advice did you have for aspiring writers? And you said, you pulled a lot of your inspiration as a songwriter. So in terms of either songwriting, filmmaking, what other projects are you currently working on right now that you can share with us?
Oh yeah, I actually got. I think everybody knows out there, it's hard to really write a screenplay by yourself with self-discipline and going through 80, 90, 100 pages. And so I said I was going to write. It was like 1 month out before my birthday. And I said, that's 30 days. So if I write 2 pages, I have 60 pages an hour, which would mean that just a little bit more and I got the feature. So I wrote. To make a long story short, I actually finished the screenplay. It's 80 something pages, which just means it's about 80 minutes or a little bit longer. And it's entitled, and I actually storyboarded it. It's called The Perfect Illusion. And I'll just read a little narrative that it starts off with so you get an idea. Let me get it here. I wrote it down. Where is it now?
Exclusive here first.
Okay, I think it says, okay, let me do it by memory because I can't. I thought I wrote it down, but okay, I didn't. Okay, so anyway, the narrative goes something like this. Reality is such a funny concept. There's no 2 identical realities. So we are all living our illusions of reality, even if it kills us. Da-da-da. So that's the beginning. So it's called The Perfect Illusion. And I think it's a wild ride too. It's kind of like the ride that you took with Circle Keys, but there's no Circle Keys band and no Circle Keys. But it's kind of cool. I don't think anybody can predict how it ends, and a lot of times you think you know where you are, you're not. So yeah, it's coming up. I don't know. Oh, and it's going to be placed in. It's going to incorporate a lot of visual effects because it's going to be set in 2075, 2080 in Hawaiian Islands. And in that time, the rail is going to be going, and it's probably old news already, because we're going to have zoomers. We're going to get these zoomers that zoom over water to inter-island travel. So you can go there, 10, 20 minutes really fast. And there's going to be a lot of interesting, futuristic visual effects in it, along with the story. So that's the idea. And because of that, it's probably going to need a slightly larger budget. So we're in the midst of seeing how that can be done. So as soon as that is done, we're going to start filming. It was in pre-production, but it stopped because we realized it's going to take more budget than we had allocated. So it's called The Perfect Illusion.
Oh, very cool. We definitely look forward to that. And I'm glad we got the exclusive narrative sneak peek into it. Before I ask my last question, I definitely have to address one thing that I absolutely loved with your film, and it's the wolf guitar. Where did the wolf guitar come about?
The wolf guitar. Oh God, I was gonna do a lot. I have a private theater in my house, and I was gonna do a live show, and I was thinking of some really weird instruments, and that's when the first wolf guitar came alive. I was gonna, just get some kind of wolf, like put fur on it, and have some wolf howling, and then I was gonna have a drum that played itself, and then I had the fire sax was already there, and it actually can, it's visual effects in the movie, but it actually live can shoot flames, one flame, but it only comes out from one, and that's where that came out. It was so basically, I'm glad you asked that, because basically the wolf guitar and everything else came from, years and years of projects that never quite got there. So this movie actually I was pulling from everywhere, and I put it all together in something that made sense, or it didn't make sense, depending.
Well, it definitely found its right place in your film, I think.
Yeah, cool. Thank you. Glad you liked it.
Thank you so much, Kurt. If people want to check the Circle Keys, where can they view or purchase the film?
Yeah, Circle Keys is currently on Amazon Prime, and just make sure you spell it right, because if you put tail singular, it won't show. You have to put tails, TALES, of the Circle Keys. Just about when you starting to spell circle, CIR, it comes out, pops out. But you got to almost spell it out. Search it on your smart TV, and there you go. Yeah, so cool. I hope that you folks watch it again, because now that and then watch. All the guys are in shades of blue. All the girls are in shades of pink. I'm always in green, and Zisha, the lead female, is in lavender. So there's a lot of color thing that was happening too. I don't know if you noticed that. So a lot of things to go back
very
on.
subtle.
Cool.
Well, thank you so much, Kurt. I am so glad that we got a chance to talk to you about your film. And
thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. And, come to Honolulu and visit. We can go out and talk some more.
Oh, please. The feeling is mutual. Anytime you're in Houston, you're always welcome. We'll take you out.
I will do that, right, guys? We're going to do it, right? Okay. Say bye.
See you, Wizard. Audience, thank you so much for joining us for tonight's Q&A. If you'd like to follow Kurt and the rest of his projects, please go to the social media handles below. He has a Facebook and his website, and we'll also be sharing the information on our social media. And this concludes day 8 of Happy Fest. Tomorrow's film block will be Raising Spirits. Spirits manifest themselves in many forms, and we will explore these haunting stories and engage in a live Q&A with the filmmakers from Fugetsudo, Koreatown, Ghost Story, and the Celine Archive. Tickets and passes are still available, so go to happifest.com for more details. Have a great evening.